The shoplifting crisis is so bad, shoppers are struggling to find non locked up items. And a personal story, pretty much every single time I go to Home Depot, every single thing is basically locked up. Every single machine, like weed whackers, lawn mowers, chainsaws, are all locked up. It's the craziest thing. And it's only started to happen like maybe like a month ago, 2 months ago. So let's check this out. You thought locking up spam was stingy. This is a whole different kettle of fish. Like, what are, what is up with that? I don't know. The shoplifting crisis plaguing the nation has become so bad that fed up shoppers are now struggling to get their hands on even the most basic essentials, which are increasingly being stashed away under heavy lock and key. A $3.99 can of cheap meat spam was protected in plastic anti theft cases at a Duane Reade in Manhattan's Port Authority last summer. And now, even a lousy tin of tuna at half the price is getting the same treatment at one of the chain stores in Penn Station under Madison Square Garden. That's crazy. You're gonna be like chaining things up for like a $4 item, a $2 item. That's pretty insane. Like with the Home Depot thing, I could kind of understand a little bit more simply because those are like $100, 150, 300, $500 items. But even so, those items are like massive, right? So it's gonna be pretty hard to steal that. I can understand the ease of stealing like a can of tuna because you probably just stuff it inside your pants or your pocket, but I don't know, that seems pretty crazy to me. The Post visited a handful of shops in the Big Apple on Friday to find a slew of low priced items, including Dawn dishwashing liquid, $2.19, Vaseline lip balm, $2.79, kids toothbrushes, $3.99, Cadbury chocolate, $3.99, and the $1.79 can of tuna locked in cabinets that require customers to ring a bell and then wait for employees to eventually get them. I'd be coming and ringing that bell all the time to get what I need, said frustrated shopper Karen Brown, 62, as she tried to flag down a staffer to hand over antihistamines at a Duane Reade at the Port Authority bus terminal. It's totally annoying. Brooklyn resident Kay O'Neill, 37, stressed that shopping at some stores now is nothing but a hassle with more and more products caged up. Yeah, like personally, if I was in an area and I was originally just shopping at this one store and basically every single thing was getting locked up, I would basically just stop shopping at that store, right? Because, like, why would I want to deal with the hassle of having to get someone for a can of tuna? Why would I have to deal with the hassle to, well, want to deal with the hassle to get someone to get, like, I don't know, maybe a loaf of bread, right? Like, it would just get kind of like so stupid. It's a struggle, it makes your day longer, he said, waiting for employees to unlock items at the shops, which have transformed from quick stops to pick up a few essentials to inconvenient stores. If you pick this one and want another one, you gotta call them twice, he added, pointing to the array of locked up face creams at a Walgreens in Brooklyn's Kensington neighborhood. About 75% of consumers say they are now relegated to shopping in stores where products are being locked up in cabinets to avoid rampant theft, according to a new National Retail Federation survey that recently polled 5,000 shoppers nationwide. A Walgreens in Crime Riddle, Chicago wrote out a new store layout this week that locks away all but two aisles of products from shoppers as part of a reported push to crack down on rife shoplifting. Like, look at this. Literally every single thing in this aisle pretty much is locked up except for maybe hairspray. Like, this is so insane. The store made the move at least partly to mitigate theft, according to an email sent to a concerned customer from the company, CWB Chicago reported. A rep for the mega pharmacy chain told the Post that the company is trying to test out a digitally driven shopping experience, but wouldn't confirm it. It is also trying to thwart thieves. The introduction of the locked up Chicago store comes as retailers across the country continue to battle an ongoing spate of thefts and smash and grab robberies, which has sparked chains to shutter in large cities, including San Francisco. And in the Big Apple, retail thefts have spiked by 77% over the past 5 years, according to the latest NYPD stats. The number of incidents has only dipped slightly so far this year, and even though there are more cops on the retail beat and Mayor Eric Adams has been pushing a long awaited retail theft strategy plan, there were 13,738 reported retail thefts through the end of March this year, compared to 14,790 over the same span in 2022, the data shows. And currently, under New York's bail laws, perps busted stealing items less than $1,000 can be slapped with a petite larceny charge, a misdemeanor that is non-bail eligible. So basically, what this means, right, for those that might be listening, you could basically, let's see, this is like a Diet Coke can. You could literally steal like 20 of these like cases, like with like 24 packs of these Diet Cokes, and just walk out. And even if you were to get slapped with a misdemeanor charge, you're not going to be going to jail. And you got to think about it. A lot of these people who are stealing these sort of items have already been stealing these items anyways, right? Like they were already charged previously and probably already served jail time for robbing, for stealing, right? So now they see like, wait a minute. So before, when I stole like $900 worth of items, I served jail time and I did that. But now if I steal the same amount, nothing's going to happen to me. I'm just going to be released. Okay. I'll just do that every single day. I mean, just think about it. They could also just like resell all the items that they basically stole onto like eBay or something, or in their local community for like half price, make a profit, like pure profit, because it's free for them to chart, like to steal it, right? So they could easily be making like 500 bucks a day, basically in profit almost, just pure profit. But the thing is, a lot of these people who do end up stealing this stuff tend to steal, sell it, and then basically use it to buy illicit material so that they can basically shoot it up into themselves, which then causes them to steal again. It's just this horrible cycle. But like this is an issue, right? To have like this amount at like $1,000, like you're basically incentivizing people to steal, right? You're like, hey, I could just go like pretty much every single day and just steal 500 bucks, right? Like, I mean, just to put into perspective, what, 500 bucks times 365 days in a year is $182,500 a year? Like, dear Lord. By the way, there's so many stores that probably aren't even reporting these thefts because they can't actually do anything. Lord. So, half of those polled in the National Retail Federation survey, which was released Thursday, said police in the courts are too lenient on shoplifters. It's not going to change because they keep stealing. It's not going to stop because the economy is going down the toilet, said Brown, a retired Rikers Island corrections officer, while waiting for service at the Port Authority to Reed. The consequences for stealing aren't severe, she continued, adding she saw people run off with a whole shelf off of stuff in the same store last week. When they steal from these stores, authorities hit them with a citation and tell them to go home. Like, that's all they're doing in this situation. So, just like ask yourself if you stumble upon this like episode, right? If you are a criminal already, probably already got a record for stealing already, right? And you know that you're just going to get a citation and basically told to go home after stealing like $900 worth of stuff from that store, what are you going to do? You are probably going to go hit another store someplace else. Or you're just going to go home, come back to the same store the very next day, and nothing's going to happen to you. Like, This is just crazy. Like, this is literally crazy. This is so beyond stupid for New York City to do, and it's going to destroy all of these stores, like every single one of these stores. They don't lock them up, they give them a desk appearance ticket and let them go home, so why wouldn't they just grab something and walk out with it? Brown added. Emily Mabur, a 69-year-old retired school employee, blamed the slight downtick in city shoplifting arrests during the first quarter this year on the number of products now being locked up. They should start arresting people for doing the wrong thing, she fumed at the Kensington Walgreens. It's the way society is right now, she said, a crime with little to no consequences. The answer is to arrest people for doing wrong the way it used to be. What's crazy, back in very old times, the way it used to be to deal with shoplifters was to literally chop off their hand. Like, that is like, you know, like medieval times, but I mean, shoplifting used to be taken very seriously. So the Big Apple isn't the only major city grappling with rampant shoplifting. San Francisco has become a mecca for organized retail crime in recent years, after the state reclassified nonviolent thefts as misdemeanors for stolen goods with less than 950. Employees at a Target location downtown San Francisco revealed last month that their store is plagued by at least 10 robberies each day. And let's just say that they do the maximum of because I think California is also similar to like the $1,000 thing, but let's do the 900, right? So what? That's like 9 grand a day. That's crazy. 9 grand a day in just pure loss of goods. And the crime battered retail giant revealed in its first quarter earnings report it expects to suffer as much as a $1.3 billion hit to its bottom line because of theft and organized crime. That is so crazy to me. In a few years, corporations with stores will just move out. These areas are full of thugs, drugs, gangs, shoplifting, and violence, too much to maintain, and people who work and shop in these stores are in jeopardy. The security is limited based on liability, and these areas will become a complete ghost town. Yeah, you get what you get, and you don't get upset, especially when your reps put in the ill conceived policies to begin with. Yeah, so feel free to give your thoughts on this. If you want to learn how to get out of debt, go to 40inbox.com, subscribe, hit the like button, whatever. Stay tuned for more financial commentary, news commentary. It's like, to me, it's just like, you'd think that these states, these cities, would like understand that if you incentivize people to commit crimes, they're going to commit crimes. And the side effect of that is that the stores that are affected by the crimes are basically going to collapse, and then all the customers that were relying on that store to be there are going to basically be collapsing too, because a lot of people can't like go travel 30 minutes, 40 minutes to a grocery store. Like, financially speaking, it may not make sense to them. Time wise, it may not make sense to them. So like, especially if they're like in a big city kind of thing, so it's like that like nearby store that's like 5 minutes away, they might have a lot of needs met by that store. And if that store goes away, they're kind of screwed. And they might have to pay like an arm and a leg for the same thing that might be like 30 minutes away if they can even get there. So it's just something to think about. Like, I just don't understand the thought process behind this. Like, I understand people wanting to maybe be a little bit more lenient on people who maybe make crimes like the first time, like first time offenders and all that kind of stuff. But to incentivize people to commit crimes constantly does not make sense. Like, financially speaking, it does not make sense. You're basically going to destroy your whole area.